Hello, I'm Mystic Alchemy. Thank you for being here. You are appreciated. So, the other day I got a download about a Bible story and how it correlates to what we have going on in the world today. And this is a Bible story that really resonated with me. And the first time I read it was after my grandfather had passed away, and he had a bunch of Bibles by his door, by the front door, and I took them. And that's the first time I read this story. And that was, I don't remember what year it was now. It was a long time ago. Maybe 2016 or 15, 2015. And I don't know, I felt like the story really resonated with me because I saw us in him. I saw the chosen ones in Daniel. That's who I saw. And at that time, I didn't know about the term the chosen ones. I didn't know anything about that. I just know that I saw that Daniel in that Bible story was a representation of us. Just like the story of Jesus is a representation of us, and connecting to what matters, which is Christ consciousness, because Christ consciousness really shows how powerful we are, and how when we are on one accord, which is Christ consciousness, together we can shake up the earth. Okay, so back to Daniel before I get distracted. Let me just read the story to you real quick. It's not that long, it's just a little bit. But it's Daniel, verse 6, or chapter 6, verse 2 to 24. King Darius appointed many men to help him rule his kingdom. His best assistant was named Daniel. Daniel outshone all the others because Daniel was so extraordinary. The king thought about giving Daniel authority over the entire kingdom. Now, the reason why Daniel was so extraordinary is because one of his gifts was to interpret dreams. Okay. Now, it doesn't say that in these verses, so I figured I'd just mention that. So he has a great power that was given to him in the spirit. It was God-given. It's a God-given power, okay? When the others heard about this, they became jealous. And many of us deal with those individuals who are very jealous just because they haven't taken the time to figure out what their gifts are. So they envy others who have found their gifts without thinking of taking the time out to figure out what their own gifts are. So their plan was to set Daniel up, okay? So it says, they tried to accuse Daniel of various wrongdoings, but no matter how hard they tried, they could not find any fault with Daniel. Then they came up with another plan. So they tried to just slander his name, like many of us deal with in life on YouTube. They be like doing stuff. The people that have nothing to talk about, they'll take clips of your video, chop them up and screw them, and then make it look like you crazy when they really don't have anything to talk about. So they have to use other people's energy for clout. Okay? Because their spirit is in a drought. They don't have any connection. They don't have any connection to God. So they have to siphon from those who are chosen. Okay, so the men went to the king and honored him. And I feel like I want to say this. You have to choose to be chosen. Everyone can choose that lifestyle, but if you don't do the work, then you can't activate the chosen qualities that you have within. And you can't connect to that God body. Your God mind will not be activated. So it's not that. It's just one of those things where if you choose to be, then you are. It's a choice. But anyway, the men went to the king and honored him. Then they said, King Darius, we want to make a new law. The king listened. Let no one offer prayers to God for 30 days except you. Otherwise, he shall be put into a den of lions. Now, this was their plan to set Daniel up because they were jealous and envious of his God-given gifts. Okay, and so they went to the king and they said, okay, so this is how we can get them. They kind of like, I'd call it a glamour spell that they put over the king, because many kings back in the ancient times, you know, they were very vain and into themselves so much. So it's like they glorified, it's like they put glory over the king's mind to make him feel special in the moment, to say yes to their request to make a new law. So they're like, no, let no one offer prayer to God for 30 days except you. Kind of like putting the king on a pedestal. And what king doesn't want to be put up on a pedestal, right? So it's like they stroked his ego in order for them to get what they wanted. And the king seemed to be so enamored that he just went along with it, not thinking about the fact that it was going to affect, or how it could affect Daniel, because they know that Daniel prayed all day long. I believe he prayed throughout the day. Kind of like how in the Muslim religion they pray throughout the day, you know, it's the same type of prayer he took on in the same way. Okay, so they knew that he was going to pray because he was so devoted to his relationship with God that he was going to pray no matter what. And so he did. So again, I'm going to read this part. The king listened. Let no one offer prayers to God for 30 days except you. Otherwise, he shall be put into a den of lions. Okay, so that's basically in jail, but with some lions. And there was like 3 or 4 of them from what I can remember. So King Darius agreed, and with his signature, the declaration became a law. Even after Daniel heard about the new law, he continued his daily practice of praying to God 3 times a day. So the men went to the king and reminded him of the decree. You passed a law that no one could pray to God for 30 days except you. Daniel must be put into the lion's den. The king was very upset. He did not want to put Daniel into a lion's den, but the law could not be changed. So the king didn't even know that he was setting up one of his best men, because he didn't realize that Daniel prayed. And he said yes because he had a glamour spell over them. It's like a confusion spell that these men that were jealous of Daniel put the king under, because they stroked his ego. And the ego felt so good that he didn't recognize what he just agreed to. So the king was very upset. He did not want to put Daniel into a lion's den, but the law could not be changed. As Daniel was put into the den, the king said to him, "May God, whom you love, save you from the lions." The king returned to his palace. He did not eat. He could not sleep because he didn't want anything to happen to Daniel, but he had already established the law that could not be changed at that point. And did you see how quick he established that law and it was set in stone? You see how quick he made the decision just because those men stroked his ego? And that's also a lesson. Just because someone says something good to you, you want to look beyond what they say to make sure that what they're saying is from a good place and it has good intentions. Ask questions. This is another situation. Ask questions. Don't be glamored by because sometimes people will try to sweet you to get you to agree to what you may not want to agree to. Just like fast talking people. Sometimes I had a cousin like that. She was a fast talker, and when she would try to she'd use her quick speech to sway you and make it sound juicy and make you possibly want to say yes. And she could have been a good saleswoman, but she wasn't doing that. But anyway, watch the fast talkers too, because they try to pull the wool over your eyes real quick. Before you know it, something gonna be missing. Okay, so let me see. All right, the king returned to his palace. He did not eat, he could not sleep. Early the next morning, he went to the lion's den. As he came near, he cried out to Daniel, Daniel, did God save you? Daniel answered the king, God sent me an angel, and the lions did not harm me. This gave the king great joy. Then he ordered the men to remove Daniel from the den. There's actually another part to that, I believe, but I haven't read this story in a long time, but it just popped up into my memory the other day, and I was thinking about how the story correlates to what we experience. And Daniel was in Babylon, so he was in the enemy's territory, basically. So that's very telling, because laws are established to harm you, quite literally, okay? And it's still happening today. Another one, okay? Just like the other one I mentioned about, what was the other one? Oh, it was about Herod wanting to, all of the children that were under 2, all of the male children, to stop the Messiah from challenging their rulership. So it's the same thing. And that's another perspective of how ancient practices are still being used today in society. Okay, so yes, another one, like DJ Khaled said. He funny. He's so extra when he talks. He funny. But anyway, that's all I wanted to share with you for this message. It's just an eye opener. When my mind starts to do stuff like that, it's an eye opener for me. So I feel as though it's a part of my duty to share my findings with you. I am not meant to keep them to myself. Okay? And you're not either. So if you come up with something, share it. Don't be afraid of what people will say, because we're here to help each other and to figure this out together. So even in the comments, if you come up with something, say it. Be free. Write on bless our wall of thoughts, okay? Don't be shy. I meant to say wrote a book yesterday. So now I have 4 books that are available on my website. All of them have been created with spirit and eye to make sure that you connect to yourself at all times and eliminate the distractions in your life that are meant to harm you. Okay, we want you to live, and we want you to enjoy your life, not be confused and in dismay when you don't have to be. Okay, so if you'd like to book a coaching call or a reading with me or purchase any of my books, you can. You can visit my websites. The books are on each website. So you can go to www.MNHONEYROSE.org, or you can purchase the book from the Fourth Wall website that is below this video. You'll see it down there, okay? So everything you do, do it with love. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next message.